up, day takers? What up, what up, what up? Stick coming to you live from the battle station. Okay, not really, it's not live, but I don't edit, so it's live later. What's good? It is Wednesday the 12th. I played in a little Irish music. That's a St. Patrick's Day parade. It's an unattributed song, but it's Doug Maxwell in the Meteorite Productions, just so you know. Just putting that out there, giving them props and whatnot, So I thought I'd bring you a St. Patrick's Day story today for my day takers, for anyone, for whatever, you know what I mean. What it do, day takers? We in here taking this day all day, Wednesday the 12th. St. Patrick's Day is on Monday. So I figure I'd tell this story. It's a story of my bar, experience about 20 years ago. This way people have several days to possibly, consume said story before the fine Irish holiday, don't you know? St. Patrick's Day, the patron saint of Ireland, the green emerald, he converted people to Christianity, and he promised if they switched on over, he'd cast all the snakes from Ireland. But if you do your research, there's no fucking snakes in Ireland. I think it was a hustle. I told you now. It is what it is. You know what it is. Ha ha! Okay, I'm going to get right into this. Wife's going to be home in about an hour, and she ain't trying to be on camera. So, where to begin? This was actually a job that I would do on every St. Patrick's Day, and I did it for 5 to 8 years. There was maybe a couple years I took off. I would normally be bartending, serving, managing, whatever, right? I would take St. Patrick's Day off, and I would bounce St. Patrick's Day for different Irish establishments. Here's what's crazy. I'm going to tell a story that I need to protect people, so I'm not going to give you the names. And then I did research, and come to find out where this story took place is still open and operational. I love these people who own it, operated it, especially at the time. This was 20 years ago. I don't even know if they still own it. They may have sold it. I don't know. But for legalities and protecting my friends' families and, guests and all that kind of stuff, we're just going to call it the Irish Bar. Yeah, I got to be careful because, I don't edit. It's not crazy. It's crazy, but, I went for some exercise for about an hour just to try to, get myself concentrated and get this down pat. Wish me some luck. Yeah, you know what I mean. Okay. So about 20 years ago, I am bouncing at an Irish bar. What I would do is, because I did mixed martial arts at the time, and I would hire some of my buddies, some of the knockaround boys, if you know what I mean, that were down for whatever, whenever. You can usually find those at different MMA schools, jiu-jitsu academies, whatever. That's why they're in there for the therapy and, whatnot. Some of my favorite people, because I'm one of those. But I got, 4 or 5 of my guys together. And then I got a couple other dudes that worked at the same spot I worked, that were just homies, but they were super jacked. It didn't even look real. I hope this one guy in particular, I'm not even going to say his name. I was going to try to mix it up, but whatever. Man, you know who you are when I say super jacked. And I hope you're still killing it, man. But he was a risk taker. So yeah, good energy to that guy. So I hire these dudes. They usually have us get there at I think that day it was 3 p.m. I was a regular at this Irish bar, and so they knew me. They They actually saw me get into several altercations there inside the establishment. And on multiple occasions, I was always trying to not let it happen. And then it was forced upon me. And I was able to successfully shut it down and square it away. And everybody was safe and no one was really hurt. That's the beautiful thing about jujitsu. Um, so, like, the owners who were some some of them boys from Ireland, uh, should I even like rugby and stuff? They were into that, and I think that's all I should say. But they were some knock around tough guys. They reminded me of Irish mafia. I don't know if they were or not, but I loved them. I loved their accent. I loved their character. I loved their bravado. Just I love these guys. And they saw me dust a couple fools off, and they were like, "You're going to work for us for St. Patrick's Day. Get your buddies." And so that's what I was doing. This was probably the third or fourth time I had done it for them. So we're getting all set up about 3 o'clock, and they're like, "Hey man, we're gonna pay you $20 an hour. This is pretty good. All you can eat and drink." And this was a full-fledged Irish bar to where they made fish and chips and shepherd's pie in a skillet. I hope that's not too much detail. Just it was delicious. The Guinness was perfect. Just their cider. I mean, the whole place. I had so much Jameson in that place. It's ridiculous. But for the nights that I would bounce, I wouldn't drink until it was over. I didn't give that stipulations to the guys that I brought on either. I just was like, hey man, hold your shit together. Try to keep it together until we're done doing our thing because we need our wits about us. You know what I mean? So they gave us headsets, microphones, walkie-talkie systems so we could communicate because those are key when you're bouncing, especially if there's live music, and there was bagpipes in this place, there was drummers, there was people in kilts. They had guest bartenders there that were like, man, I hope this detail doesn't. They were famous athletes in the Denver area. That some of them were retired, some of them were active, and they were guest bartending, which people tip crazy because it's a celebrity thing, and it was good times. And I think they were doing a charity event mixed in with it. And when people drink, they have a tendency to give up their cash, if you will. So I'm trying to get to the sweet spot of this story, but so many things transpired during these evenings, and they always do. Usually St. Patrick's Day is crazy, and now that I am my ripe old age, I don't even want to work the shift if I'm bartending or serving. I would much rather just take that night off because it's a night full of rookies, is what we call in the industry. And rookies have a tendency to rookie it up, if you know what I mean. And I mean rookie it up. Like they don't go out a lot. Their drinking tolerance is low. Their social tolerance is low. And it just becomes a nightmare. And we get to deal with it all as bouncers. I wasn't a full-time bouncer at all. This was just something I enjoyed doing. It was so cool. I would wear a cup, an athletic cup, anytime I bounce because that area is usually sought after by the drunk, whoever you're dealing with. I'm trying to sum it up and get to the meat and potatoes, if you know what I mean, of the story. But I will tell you, of the multiple things that happened that night, of us escorting people, the big thing that happened that night, which is, a very pivotal point in the story. We had a guy in there dressed in a suit. He was about 5'8" to 5'10", probably 45-ish, 35 to 45. He wasn't graying yet, but, a little bit, kind of similar to myself. And we kept getting complaints that he was touching the girls inappropriately. Nothing real aggressive, but still, like standing too close and putting the arms and hugging people that didn't want to be hugged. And, a couple of the cocktail waitresses, the bar manager was like, hey, keep an eye on this guy. He's pissing off the ladies. And the owner, specifically the big owner, came to me and said, I need you to deal with this. And I was like, okay, this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to give him one. I'm going to give him a warning. And then if it happens again, we're going to take you out of here. And he was like, okay. I was like, because that's usually best if I give them the opportunity to start to behave, then sometimes it works. Because if it escalates, it's like, hey, man, I gave you one. It just helps. I suggest it. If the issue isn't too aggressive and too crazy, um, try to give them one. It's a suggestion I got from an old school bouncer that I had that I'd hired from a nightclub and whatever. So I told the owner, hey man, I'm gonna give him one, and I'm gonna tell him we're gonna open the door with his head if he doesn't, listen up. He was like, all right. So I went to the guy, and he was pretty intoxicated. He was almost looking through me as I was giving him the instruction. And I said, look, man, I understand that some of the ladies are not happy with your energy right now. I don't exactly know how I said it, but I was like, keep your hands to yourself. Enjoy your time while you're here. Spend your money, all the good stuff. Because during these holidays, there would be taxis just parked outside the bar as the night would draw to the close. So we were real kind of lenient on the level of intoxication because I had guys at the front door, I had guys at the back, I had guys in both side rooms, and we had ourselves walkie-talkie. So if anybody was trying to get out of there, we'd take their keys. Like with this many dudes and this communication device, it was really hard to get away from us. So I went to him, I gave him the warning. He was like, yeah, everything's gonna be cool. Well, I walkied and I was like, hey, everybody pay attention, guy in the such and such coat and, tie. And I described him. I was like, keep your eye on him because he's our man at this point. So I get another complaint from like the general manager. And so I'm like, all right, he's got to go. So I go up. What we would do is I would be the guy that would verbally talk to you. I'm basically a distraction piece because I have this mouthpiece and I can talk like a mofo, right? And I can be very prim and proper if I need to be, which kind of relaxes them and lowers their guard. But what they don't know is we have practiced this, we have drilled this. Why I have your attention and distraction, either the two guys in the back or the two guys in the side, depending on what's going on in the crowd, they are approaching your 6 o'clock and they are preparing to loop underneath your arm. And we're just seconds away from getting you outside, getting you to an area to where if we have to do more, no one's in the way, everyone's safe. We're not going to bang this person up against a chair or whatever, you know what I mean? So that's what we're doing. I go right up behind this guy and I go to like tap him on the shoulder or grab his elbow. There's certain things you want to do to protect yourself. So there's certain hand placements, whatnot. I won't get into it. This one's a good one. But so he, before he turns around to me, he grabs this lady's, right in front of me. I don't think he realized it was me behind him. So I yanked him by his shoulder because the lady wasn't that upset. I think she might have been encouraging it. I don't know. Everyone was really, really drunk, but she did complain later. So everything that happened was merited. So I yank him by his shoulder and I was like, bro, I gave you one. So he stands up, his head level's about right here. And I don't even know if he's really making a complete sentence. He's like, and I was like, okay, you gotta go. And as soon as I said, you gotta go, my two dudes were already behind him, yanked him up, and I kind of got out of their way and they, did their thing towards the front door. And yes, we did open the door with this part of his body. It's because it's what you kind of have to do, big wooden doors to an Irish bar. And it's not like he's going to reach his hand out because the dudes have it. So you kind of got to use his body to open the door. So we did. We get him down. I follow them outside. He promises he's going to calm down. We're telling him, hey, just to leave. We're going to let you leave. Hop in a taxi. Do the dang thing. So literally, he goes down the steps, talks to a taxi. He's out there for 10 minutes. I send the other two guys back in. I got my two front door guys there. One of them is like a championship kickboxer dude, and he's kind of mean. He didn't do anything crazy that night, but he's super dangerous. I just thought I'd put that out there because he made me handle the rest of this, and I think it was probably best that I did because I didn't hurt this guy much. Maybe a little. He did it to himself. What, are you kidding me? So he talks to the taxi dude. We're still kind of, because the restaurant itself is raised. The parking area is a little bit lower. There's a parking garage out to the left. And this garage actually goes down instead of a high-rise parking garage kind of thing. We notice he talks to the taxi. He gets into the taxi. He gets out of the taxi, tells the taxi, hold on. He comes up, and now he's talking about suing us or something. I don't know what it is. And I was like, bro, if you don't get out of here right now, I'm going to call the cops. And he's like, I'm going to call the cops. I already had connections with the cops in the area from being their bartender, their server. It was in a well-to-do area, so they really policed the area very nicely. So they would respond real quick, especially nights like tonight. And it wasn't super late in the evening. The sun was just setting. Um, so they were more likely to respond now than later in the evening, because as it gets later on a St. Patrick's Day, you hear ambulances and fire trucks, and they're responding to other things more than likely. So he comes back up screaming about that, and I'm like, hey, the cops are gonna come, man. I'm done with this. We gave you more than one opportunity to get out of here. Now it's on you. You're done. Cops on the way. And he's like, yeah, whatever. And he like comes up to me and he's like, bird chested me and all this and whatnot. I need to get back inside. I'm getting stuff on my mic. Stuff's going on. So I'm trying to manage that. You deal with this, you deal with that. Because we're also kind of helping out. Like they need ice behind the bar and their bar back. So I'm like, hey, go grab a couple things and get that in there, just depending on what's going on. So I end up basically spinning him around, boom, putting him in the choke, dropping down to the ground, and I'm sitting on that upper sidewalk with him set up in the rear naked choke, full hooks in, if you know what I'm talking about, in my gear, mic'd up, and I'm leaning against this wooded thing that held plants in it up above. So I'm kind of propped up, and I've got him squared away in the rear naked choke, and he's screaming, bloody mercy and all this stuff. He's fine. I have not done anything to him yet. So I kind of apply the choke a little bit to let him know he needs to calm down, because I can shut him down if I want. And he loses a little and he comes back and I'm like, dude, just calm down. Calm down. Because sometimes when you choke a person, it resets them, especially if they're being ultra violent or hard to communicate with, or they're super intoxicated. It kind of hits a reset sometimes. I've used it multiple occasions everywhere in life, but even with my drunk friends, it's crazy. But he came to, kind of started to realize and remember where he was at, but he's still intoxicated. He starts to fight me and struggle. Now I have him down on his belly and I'm on top. His belly's on the floor and I'm on his back, and I've got the choke in, and I keep, semi putting him to sleep and then letting the blood flow come back to his brain. And I'm like, man, just calm down, man. You need to calm down, because he is rubbing his head on the concrete, I don't know what he was attempting to do, because that's not how you get out of it. But yeah, so now he's got these crazy concrete, he was skateboarding without a helmet. He's got all these scrapes on his forehead and whatnot. Luckily, all this was on camera. They had cameras everywhere. Everything we did that night was on camera. That's not the important part of the story. That is just a part of the story that is kind of pivotal, because as this night ends, we're all pretty much sober. We're making sure everybody's getting out. It's the last few stragglers. We're making sure people are getting into taxis. All of us have a full glass of beer, Guinness, Jameson shots all around. We have this huge platter of fish and chips. We're crushing it, because it's almost 2:00. Finally, we get everyone out. Everyone's cleaning up behind the bar. We're sitting on one of the middle cocktail tables. They're paying us. They're divvying us up. They're letting us drink for free. We're getting our money counted. We're talking. Some of the bartenders and whatever are standing out front smoking. But I noticed one of the buddies from my fight school wasn't there. He was there in the beginning. I remember him going to the restroom, coming and not sitting back down at the table, but standing. And I think he walked out the front door. I'm not sure. It could have been the back door. I'm going to say his name was Peter, because something happened to his Peter. Okay, so we're getting everything divvied, and I got his pile of money right here, and it's got, all the math written on it because we had to do like an hourly thing, and then we split a tip and whatever. We split the tips we got from people at the door. We made a tip pool, and we're doing all that. Super fun gig if you ever get to do it, if you're into adventure. But yeah, I'm looking for Peter. Peter's not there. So I'm like, all right, a couple of guys are dipping out. They're going. It's now like 3 o'clock in the morning. I want to get home. I'm ready to get this cup off, get relaxed, get cleaned up. I'm tired of smelling alcohol and drunk people and the whole nine. So I go out the front door, look around, go out the back dock, look around. I'm calling for him. I'm like, all right, kind of scan the parking lot. So I go, me and my kickboxer buddy, I believe we drove together, or he drove me. I believe that's what it was. We're walking to the parking garage to just call out for him, see if he's there. I get to this opening in the garage. It's for people to walk through because right over here is the area for cars to drive through. And there's like this divider made of concrete, I guess to block wind. I don't know. It's Colorado, but you couldn't really see around the corner. And as we come up, we're talking and we hear something behind the little concrete barrier. And I was like, it wasn't his name, but I was like, Peter, you in there? Hey man, where you been? All that kind of shit. And then I hear a girl's voice go, oh no, oh no, oh no. And then I hear Peter's voice go like, are you serious? Let me see, or something, something to do to that effect. I get around the corner. Peter appears to have been leaning up against the wall, and some girl, I don't think she worked there. I think she was just a girl from the night, if you will. I remember because she was wearing like a tall Abraham Lincoln style St. Patrick's Day hat. Because she still had it on. Just crazy. But what was going on behind that corner was she was, man, how do I say this? She was orally caring for him, giving him some head. Yeah. I guess that's what was going to happen. Well, when they heard us come up, or when I said Peter or something like that, she, in a hurry to put away his member, attempted to like zip up his pants. They weren't pants. It was a snow bib. And I don't know if you know what a snow bib is, but a snow bib is something you wear when you ski or snowboard. And a lot of the bouncers will use this because it gets cold as shit at nighttime in Colorado. And it can get cold even in March for sure. It snowed in April before living there. But he's wearing a snow bib. And if you've ever seen a snow bib, they kind of look like overalls. They're made to protect you from water and the snow and wind. So they're hardcore. And it has this zipper on it that's probably the width of my thumb. So the actual zipper part is thick and robust. I don't think it was metal. I think it was plastic. But she zipped his tallywhacker inside of that thing. Bro, by the time me and kickboxer guy realized what was going on, because he's cupping it, he's not really communicating to us. We're kind of laughing because we can kind of tell what's going on. The young lady does not know what to do. She caused the whole thing because she panicked and tried to like zip it up, but didn't put it all away, I guess. Oh my God. So now we have this issue. It is probably 3:30 in the morning. We have him, we kind of held his upper body, and each of us took a leg and we set him on the steps right there on the opposite side of that concrete barrier. He is losing color. He doesn't want us to touch things. She occasionally leans over and attempts to help sometimes. And I'm like, don't touch it. It didn't look real. Like the condition it was in and how it was in there and how the skin was interlaced into each one of the zipper nodules and things, and it just like how did it how did it not come off? Okay, but yeah, so we're 911 in it right now at past 3 a.m. on a St. Patrick's Day. Needless to say, the emergency services are a little busy. So we lift him up again. We take him, which he's screaming the whole time. This injury that he has is starting to turn colors. It is bleeding, not a lot, but it's bleeding. We've all had alcohol, which thins the blood, which makes it hard for stop things the bleeding. And I don't know if we should try to get it out. Should we leave it? He's in so much pain. He can't even sit up all the way because it's got him pinned to his, in a kind of a bent over position. Oh, this poor dude. I don't know whatever happened to this girl. I think she ran off in the emergency of everything. I think she felt guilty. I don't know. I'm sure she did. I hope she got a safe ride home. We get him picked up. We now sat him in a patio chair. And it was kind of like one of those recliner chairs. And I think we kind of made it worse when we did that. But I don't know, man. So finally, the ambulance shows up. A fire truck shows up afterwards. And I think it's because the ambulance was talking over their, CB or whatever that is. And I think the firefighters wanted to see it because it was so gnarly. Man, Peter, not his real name, passed out multiple times, like before they got there and why they were there. Just getting him on to like the gurney and inside the ambulance, because I tried to stay with him as long as possible, and they were giving him the IV. Man, what they did was they used these scissors to like cut the bib away to where it was just the zipper piece that was holding on to his junk. Bro, I will never forget this St. Patrick's Day for as long as I live. That poor dude's member is scarred into my brain. Like, oh my God. Okay, well, come to find out, it didn't come off. They were able to repair it. As a matter of fact, maybe 4, 6, 8 months later, we all laughed about it. We laughed about it for many, many months, many moons. We laughed, but he showed it to me a couple of times there in the gym locker room, and man, I gotta tell you, if I was going to describe it, because it didn't look the same. I don't know if it's because the way they sewed the skin or something, but it looked like it was trying to roll over on his belly when it was just sitting there. I don't know how to paint this picture without being too graphic. And then it had, I don't know if this is from the stitching or the zipper. It had a perfect scar that kind of wrapped around it at an angle that looked like zipper material, but I think it was stitches. Maybe it was the zipper scar. I don't know. Yeah. So bad. We called him Zipper Dick forever. Okay, there it is. That's Miss St. Patrick's Day story. I hope people get to tune in and check it out. And remember, be careful on St. Patrick's Day. All right, let me check my time on that one. 30 minutes. We're at 30 minutes, everybody. It's a fine Irish vlog, don't you know? I'm sorry, I love doing the Irish voice so much. I don't know what that is. I love it. All right, day takers. Hope you like the story. I think I protected everyone and the establishment in that one. I'm going to listen to it again. I love everyone involved in the story, even the dude that I choked out a bunch, because he helped make that story. I hope he's doing good too. Yeah, 20 years ago. Crazy. But yeah, it's Wednesday. Day takers. I'm going to get out of here. I got it squared away before the wife got home. Story is good. I'm hoping the story gives you a little something to get you over hump day, because it's hump day. You know what I mean? And you know what I say about the hump. We're at the top because the hump, you know what I mean? We're at the top of that hump. Use that momentum, that inertia to push you on through the weekend. And if you're having some struggles, maybe this story will put a smile on your face and make you grateful that you didn't get your dick in a zipper. Okay? or maybe you're a young lady and you're grateful you didn't help somebody get that in their zipper. I don't know. But yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and get on out of here, y'all. Day takers, take this day. Dick is taking it. Join me. Let's get in there. Remember, please share the knowledge, spread your love, and I will see you next time. Take the day, y'all. Take the mother sucking day. And if I don't get to see you on St. Patrick's Day, I probably will, though. I'll upload a video and I'll tell people to watch this one. But happy St. Patrick's Day if I don't get to tell you on time, you know what I mean. It's a fine Irish holiday like I was saying earlier. Cheers and all that. I love you guys. Peace out. See you tomorrow. Wednesday, hump day. Ride it. Ride the momentum. I love you.